So it's going to be a little shorter than usual, but we're going to learn about a topic. Today's Tezvav Elul, which is exactly Shloshim Yom before Tezvav Tishrei. Believe it or not, we're Shloshim Yom from the beginning of Chag Sukkos. And what's the special mitzvah of Sukkos, especially in relation to Yom Moshiach, there's a special mitzvah called Aliyah L'Regel Shalish Pam Mashana to go to Yerushalayim. So we're going to talk about that in connection with the Asal Davi. There's a pasuk in Yeshaya Navi in Kapitel Samach Vav, which is the very last perek of Yeshaya Navi. The second to last pasuk says, "V'haya midei chodesh b'chodshay u'midei Shabbos b'Shabbatay." Every Rosh Chodesh and every Shabbos, Yavei kol basar lehishtachveis lefanai Amar Hashem. All flesh will come before me to bow down in the Beis Hamikdash, says the Lord. Right, that's what it says in the pasuk. Then, of course, there's one last pasuk, which is a negative pasuk. So the Gemara says you go back and you read this pasuk again. This is how we conclude the book of Yeshaya Navi, which would seem to be discussing essentially a aliyah l'regel of every Shabbos and every Chodesh, right? Not only the Shol Shregalim. So what's tutzich das? There's a very famous medrash in Yalkut Shemini on the pasuk, and it quotes the pasuk of David HaMelech. He says, "Mosai avoi v'yeroeh pnei Elokim." When will I finally get to come and see the face, the countenance of Hashem? And it says in the Medrash, Remes Reish Nun Beis, in Yalkut Shemini brings, Amru Yisrael Ribono Shel Olam. The Jewish people say Ribono Shel Olam, Master of the world. Mosai at the Machzor Lanu es Hakavod. When are you going to return to us the honor? Shehayinu Olam b'Shleishes Pamei. The Golim that we used to go up the three Shol Shagon, the three Yom Tevim, Sukkos, Pesach, and Shavuos, or Pesach, Shavuos, and Sukkos rather. V'royim es Hashchina, and we used to see the Shchina. Amar lahem Hakadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem told them, Bonai, my children, Ba'olam has Yisam Olam Shana Shalish Pa'amim. You guys used to go up 3 times a year in this lifetime, in this world. K'she'agia Kates, when Moshiach comes, atel sidim liyas Olam Sham v'chodesh v'chodesh. We're going to go up every single month. Shenamar. And he quotes this pasuk. So this is already we see befedish, a medrash which says that it's taka the way it's going to be. We're going to be eiladagel. It's not like necessarily going to be in the Beis Hamikdash every day. Some people think that we're going to be in the Beis Hamikdash every day of our lives. It's not so pashut, and it seems to be clearly not that way. But we're going to have times that we go up, and what are those times exactly? It seems to say over here. There's another medrash, and the Rebbe has a letter about this other medrash, because this is from Sikta Rabasi, where it brings the part that we just said. And then it says Davar Acher, another pshat, and the Rebbe discussed in the letter why is it another pshat. So what's the medrash continue from Sikta Rabasi? It's also brought in Yalkut Shemini, just elsewhere. Ksiv, it says in the pasuk, V'haya midei chodesh b'chodshay, every month. Frek the medrash asks, V'heyich efsher sheyavi kol basar b'Yerushalayim b'chol Shabbos v'chol Chodesh. How is it possible to come to the Beis Hamikdash every Shabbos and every day Chodesh? It seems, how are you going to get there? It's too tirchadik. It's too difficult. Everyone's going to the Beis Hamikdash every month and danishtik. Amr Ablevi Asidu Yerushalayim. So he says the following. Amr Ablevi Asidu Yerushalayim liyes Keretz Yisrael. This is a very famous word. Yerushalayim is going to grow and be the size of the whole Eretz Yisrael. The Rambam gives us a formula in the Rambam. You can open up the Rambam, and he says how to extend the walls of Yerushalayim. It's a whole seder with the Kohen Gadol, with the Beis Hamikdash. You bring your makar of a carbon toida. Right, you bring the breads and you extend the wall of Yerushalayim. There's a way. So apparently, Zokta the Blevi, when Mashiach comes, Eretz Yisrael, the whole Eretz Yisrael, Yerushalayim is going to spread. Gans Eretz Yisrael, the whole Eretz Yisrael is going to be Yerushalayim. Then he goes on to say, Eretz Yisrael k'chol elam kulei. The whole entire world is going to be Eretz Yisrael. How does that work? Again, the same system. The Rambam describes how do we expand the territory of Eretz Yisrael. After you conquer Eretz Yisrael, you could go in Melech Yisrael, and there's a whole system of Pi Halacha. How do we sanctify the boundaries outside of Eretz Yisrael? Now, being that we're told the Mashiach is going to rule from ocean to ocean, from river to the ends of the earth. So Zikr is going to be Mekadesh to make it Eretz Yisrael. So in other words, essentially, Yidden are going to own the whole world is going to be Eretz Yisrael. So this is like a Hakdama. What's this have to do with the question? The Hakdama is because he's making this assumption that Yidden are going to live all over the world. That seems to be his assumption, because the whole earth, the whole world is going to be Eretz Yisrael. Because look what he says: how do you come Shabbos Reish Chodesh from the end of the world? Ella ha'avim boim, the clouds come. V'toyanim oisam, and they carry them. They bring the umaviyim oisam liYerushalayim. They mispalim sham abayka. They daven there in the morning. And v'husha navi mekalson. This is what the Navi praises them and says, Mi eila ka'av tu ufena. It's a famous pasuk in Yeshaya Navi, Perek Samach, where it says, "Who are these?" referring to the Yidden. Mi eila ka'av tu ufena v'chayonim elaru beisayim, like doves going to their dove cots. That the Rebbe, by the way, this is a favorite pasuk by the Rebbe. Just listen to the Farbrengens and the Mems. You're going to hear this pasuk quoted hundreds of times. It's interesting to note the psukim that the Rebbe loves, or the Rebbe loves all psukim, but the Rebbe chooses to say in his brachas. The Rebbe will conclude sichas by the Farbrengen and say, Mi eila ka'av tu ufena v'chayoyna elaru b'yisayim. The Rebbe quotes mamish the whole pasuk also, not like a half a pasuk. Right? Who are these? Like a cloud. The Medrash here is quoting this concept that the Yidden are going to go to Yerushalayim like on a cloud, and they're not going to have to worry. The Medrash goes on, and it says a third davar acher. That's what I mentioned before that Rebbe discusses, where it talks about that what happens on Reish Chodesh, our Shabbos that falls on Reish Chodesh. What's then? And the Medrash basically says that Yidden are going to go twice to the Beis Hamikdash that day. That the clouds are going to carry them bahashkama early in the morning. They're going to daven shachris. They're going to be tying them oisam l'batei and bring them back home. And that's what it means in the pasuk, Mi eila ka'av tu ufena, like a cloud. And then, that's the morning. And then the second half of the pasuk, V'chayoyna elaru beisayim, like doves, is going on, Harez shel mincha. That's going to go back to Beis Hamikdash to daven mincha. So there's once in Shachris, once in mincha. And the Rebbe basically writes over there, it's printed in the Hisafis of Likud Sichos and Chilach Aleph. And the Rebbe's vart basically over there is... the Rebbe discusses essentially that B'chalal, even according to the first opinion, there's a certain kind of question which arises, which is that there's a machlekes in Masechta Eruvin, we discussed once at length, is there tchumin l'mayla me'asar tefachim? On Shabbos, are you allowed to walk or travel above 10 tefachim? We know Tchum Shabbos, you're not allowed to walk, travel more than a certain distance on Shabbos. Right? The Chum said al-payim am, 2,000 amas, but essentially, and many Shittas and the Rishayim say that there's a biblical prohibition, including the Rambam's opinion. There's a biblical de'iraisa isser of 12 million. 12 million. So how do you travel? So the shaila is, if you travel above 10 tvachim, is there an Indian of Tchum Shabbos? Are you allowed to do it? So the Rebbe said, so to quote one other letter, there's a letter of the Rebbe writes, Umizeh de'ein tchumen l'mayla me'asara. From this measure, there's a raya barer that there's no tchumen higher than asara, because we're traveling on Shabbos to Yerushalayim. The Rebbe says, but nevertheless, b'chol zeh paskinon l'dina, we paskin in halacha that it's a suffix, that we don't know. We don't paskin that we know. The Rebbe says why? Because since in our shas it's a k'boyed l'ipshita, it's a question without an answer. It's a standing question. The Gemara doesn't have an answer. The Rebbe says this is a raya. It's a very important a klal in halacha, that anything which is a suffix in our shas, b'shas dilon, in our shas, loy pashtinon mimakim acher. Just because you find another source outside of shas which answers the question, it's not an answer, because the shas itself would have answered. Our shas is such a primary source that it doesn't matter if you can answer from another makar. That's it. If there's a suffix in our Gemara, so that's what the Rebbe says. And then the Rebbe adds, it could be maybe Agadah is different. In other words, maybe since this med is Agadah, that's why we can't paskin any halacha from here. But in any event, they ain't kamakayim, the Rebbe writes. But legabe the vart of davar acher, what are the three davar achers? The Rebbe says they're actually arguing this vart. The three opinions in the medrash that we just said. Why is it a davar acher? They seem to be moisif on each other. The Rebbe says, no, they're actually disagreeing with each other. The first opinion says that we're actually not allowed to travel to Yerushalayim on Shabbos because of Tchum Shabbos. He holds this Tchum Shabbos l'mayla me'asara. And when he says we're going to spend every day Chodesh and Shabbos there, he means we're going to get there Erev Reish Chodesh and Erev Shabbos. You have to spend Shabbos there. You can't fly there from your house on Shabbos. For the David Acher, the second opinion said that for Shachris you're going to fly in. And then the Rebbe said it gets very complicated with the Gabe Dinim, because where did you start Shabbos, and then the hour differences. So how do you keep halacha from where you're coming and going? And the Rebbe said it's very complicated. And the Rebbe said that's why there's a third davar acher. Could it be that you go back home and then come back to Yerushalayim for mincha, right? Because the Rebbe says you get into other issues, legabe, the hours, and how that works, which is the sugya that Rebbe Kochten, of course, we know the Kava Taidich, the date line, and so on and so forth. So the Rebbe is learning that this is pshat in this medrash, that the second two davar achas are actually arguing about this nekuda, about the complications of halacha, the Gabi going back and forth different hours on Shabbos. Fine. Before we continue, 1 second, thus because you guys are probably wondering, Derech Agav, since we quoted it, this vart that the Eretz Yisrael is going to be Yerushalayim, and the whole world is going to be Eretz Yisrael. So the Alter Rebbe writes, it brings down a Parshas Maseh, that he brings down the Mechuvin Bezeh, that the whole world is going to be in the Madrega of Eretz Yisrael now, but then the whole Eretz Yisrael is going to be in the Madrega of Yerushalayim now. And the Rebbe says, and Yerushalayim is going to be on a much higher level than it is now. In other words, the vart is that every level is going to be much higher than it was before. Right? It's not like everything. It's not like Yerushalayim is no longer special because the whole Eretz Yisrael is Yerushalayim. No. Yerushalayim now is going to be much greater than it ever was. I think there's even a makar. I haven't seen it like right now. I haven't researched it, but I remember hearing that the Beis Hamikdash is going to be like the Kodesh HaKadoshim, And then I'm sure the Kodesh HaKadoshim goes even higher. Aliyas Ha'olamais. The Alter Rebbe says over there that it's in of Aliyas Ha'olamais. If that's what are Yidden B'chlal doing around the world then? If Eretz Yisrael, even if the whole world ends up becoming Eretz Yisrael api halacha, but Eretz Yisrael is always going to be so much holier and more significant than the rest of the world, what are Yidden doing? So there's a sikh of the Rebbe in Parshas Noach Hashem Emches, where the Rebbe says that there's, even after Mashiach comes, we're going to have to be poil in the world, al derech avodas habirudim. The Rebbe says, similar to the concept of avodas habirudim, there's such a concept out there. Right? And in the Kovtzim, not recent Kovtzim, but Fran Kovtzim, where there's big shakavatayas about this vart of the Rebbe, because one of the big yonim of Moshiach is that we all live in Eretz Yisrael in order to have Shmit and V'yevlis. You need to have Kol Yeshvei Aleh, all the Yidden living in Eretz Yisrael to be Mekayim Dinyan. So some people want to answer that maybe once the whole world becomes Eretz Yisrael, we're still Mekayim it even if you're living outside of present day Eretz Yisrael. Or maybe the fact that you're moving into Eretz Yisrael every Shabbos and Reish Chodesh to spend it there means that it's as if you live there because that's your kviyas. That's another shakavatayya that people are discussing, l'gabi the Rebbe's sicha, right? The fact is that even if you're living the world over, but if you're spending every Shabbos in Reish Chodesh and Eretz HaKodesh, that means you're living in Eretz Yisrael. So it's also kemen zagit. But I'll call upon him. That's l'gabi that vart of the whole world becoming Eretz Yisrael. L'gabi the vart that we're discussing about going to Yerushalayim and being Eil Rego is the Gemara of Bava Basra, famous Gemara Daf Ayin Hey. The Gemara says, Amar Rabba, Amar Rabbi Yechanan, Asad HaKadosh Baruch Hu Lagbias Yerushalayim. The Eibush is going to pick up Yerushalayim. Gimel Parsois. How high up is Yerushalayim going to be? Towering above the rest of the world. 3 Parsois. 3 Parsois is 12 million. A mil is 2,000 amas. 2,000 amas. So I forgot the measurements, but it's basically it's higher than Mount Everest. If I'm not wrong, it's a 7 point something miles up in the air. I might be wrong, but I think that was the cheshbon. And Mount Everest is 5.5 miles up in the air. It's the highest point in the world right now above sea level is Mount Everest, 29,009 feet up from the sea level. But Yerushalayim is going to be 7,000, 7 point something miles up in the air above the world. Fine. That's what the Gemara says, right? And the Gemara says, and it quotes a pasuk, "V'ro'ama v'yashva tzachteha." It will be uplifted and it will stay and it will sit in its place. I checked up the psukim over there. It's mashma for the psukim that the whole Hashem is going to flatten the whole earth, and the only elevated place in the whole world is going to be Yerushalayim. But the Gemara doesn't seem to necessarily be getting into that, because the Gemara asks, what do you mean it will stay in its place? V'yashva sachteha. The Gemara asks, "Mai sachteha kitachteha." It's trying to tell you how high up Hashem is going to lift it up, like its size. What's the size? The size of Yerushalayim is 3 parsois long. If you walk, the circumference, the length of Yerushalayim is 3 parsois. So Hashem is saying that's how tall I'm going to lift up Yerushalayim. And the Gemara then asks, "V'shema toimar." Maybe you're going to ask. Maybe you're going to say, "Yesh tsar la'alois." It's painful to get up. How do you climb up so tall? It's a big deal to climb Mount Everest. Ask those who've done it. So the Gemara says, Talmud loymar mi elek of teufana v'chayona elaru beisayim, says the Gemara in Bava Basra. Talmud Leimer that it's not going to be a tsar. We're going to be able to get up there, no problem. Marsha says, what's the word of Gimel Parsoim? Gimel Parsoim is the shir of Machne Yisrael in the Midbar, right? Which is 12 million, 1 mil. Lekavod, he writes, Al Shem Mailas Yisrael, L'asad Lavi, Hashem's going to lift up Yerushalayim to make a mil l'chol shevet v'shevet. 1 mil for every shevet of Klal Yisrael. So it's 12 million, which is 3 parsais, and that's going to be the, what? 45,000 feet. 20 your cheshbon? It sounds too much. I was calculating, I'll tell you what, according to the Chaim Na, an amma is 18.9 inches. According to the Chaim Na, 18.9 inches is a amma. So times that 18.9, times that by 2,000, and then times that by 12, and you're going to get the amount. You understand? 18.9. Okay, we'll make the chesed at different times. This they get to the shir. Okay, Akapanim, and that's the Chaim Na shir. If you want to go to the Chazon Ish, it's already going to be 21 inches. Fine, Akapanim. Fine. One final nekuda. The shaila is about this aliyah regel. Is it a mitzvah? Is it a choiva? What are we talking about? There's a mitzvah in the Torah to go up. The Torah is changing all of a sudden. All of a sudden we have a mitzvah every Shabbos, every Chodesh. What's tutzich though? What's going on? So there's Gemara Rosh Hashanah, Daf Tazayin. The Gemara says, Reb Yitzchak, chayav adam lahakbel pnei Rabbi b'regel. You have to go to see your Rebbe. All the Orchim are streaming in now to Crown Heights to see the Rebbe. Right? Thousands and thousands of Orchim are starting to come. Chayel, the season is upon us. And Reb Yitzchak says that you have to go see lahakbel pnei Rabbi b'regel shenamar. The story basically, whatever, the Isha Hashunamish, she lost her baby, so she went to Elisha to go get to do Tchias HaMesim, but her husband, she didn't tell her husband that the kid is dead. So the husband said, "Why are you going to him?" And he told her, "Madu ateilecha seilav hayoim loy chodesh v'loy Shabbos." It's not Shabbos and it's not Chodesh. So what are you going to Elisha for? So the Gemara says, Miklau, we see that on Shabbos that on Chodesh and Shabbos he boilo lemezel. She should go. She should be going. That's what the Gemara says. Frek the Ritva and all the Rishonim and the Achrayim ask the same question. He says, I don't understand. You're trying to bring a raya that you have to go b'regel, and then you bring a pasuk about Shabbos and Reish Chodesh. What's for a Maisa? Frek there. So he says, Yesh loymar zok the Ritva the Rab Yitzchak tafas b'ktzei ha'achrein. He's taking the most extreme word, meaning the Kabbalah is the following. Every Talmud, based on how close you are to your Rebbe, you have to go be Makabel Rabbi. If you live in his city, you have to go see him every day. If you live outside of the city but close enough, you have to come either once a week or at least every day Chodesh. Right? And that's Pshat in the Pasuk. If you live far away, you have to go just like by the Eibishter. Seeing your Rebbe is like going to see the Eibishter. The Eibishter says you have to come see me 3 times a year. So if you live far away, you have to come Beregel. Right? Reb Yitzchak was just saying that even if you're far away, don't be lazy. You have to come to your Rebbe at least 3 times a year. That's the Ritva's pshat. Achroinim want to learn pshat in the Ritva that be'etzim in the din de'iraisa going up to the Beis Hamikdash. Really, you have to be a regel all the time. It's a mitzvah in the Torah. Norva then, Hashem was not obligating you to go up so often because how could you do it? It's so. It entails so much effort and so much exertion that Torah doesn't make a choiva on you. But it doesn't mean there's no choiva. And they want to connect it with a pasuk in Parshas Kisisa. Hashem says that when I expel the goyim from before you, v'herchavti es gvulach, and I widen your border, right? V'lo yachmi dish etzartzcha, no one's going to want your land. By loischa leirois pnei Hashem lekach, you go to see Hashem. Shalish pamim b'shana, 3 times a year. Right? That's the pasuk. So Rashi says on the words "Ve'herchavti es gvulach," I widen your boundary. Zok Rashi, "Ve'ater rachik mi beis habchira." Hashem is saying you're far away from the beis habchira. Ve'ein cho yachol lirais lefanei tamid. You can't come do it all the time. You can't come all the time. Lekach ani kevelach shalish regalim halalu, says Rashi. Therefore, I'm being kever for you these 3 regalim. So the pasuk explicitly says that why am I giving you 3 times a year? Ve'herchavti es gvulacha, because you're living all over the place, and I can't demand from you to come so often. But if Lasad Lavi we're going to be able to come like clouds, mi elakav tufena, then the chiyuv, we have a chiyuv, and therefore we're going to be there every Shabbos, every Chodesh. That's one eifin. The second eifin, and we're going to conclude with this, is that b'chlam retner shekana mitzvah. We're talking about a reshus. We're going to want to go. We're going to go. Get going it. Right? It's nothing to do with a choiv. And there's a raya for it because there was at the end of the medrash that before that I didn't quote the end of the medrash. The Gemara says, the medrash says the following in the Pesik Rabasi. Einay oimer yavi kol Yisrael ela yavi kol basar. It doesn't say the whole Jewish people will come. It says yavi kol basar, all flesh. It doesn't say kol Yisrael. It says all flesh. What's it trying to say? So the Medrash gives two pshatim. Pshat number one. Rabbi Elazar. Kol mi shenase kebasar ba'ilam hazeh zoicha liris pnei hashchina. Whoever made themselves like flesh in this world is going to be zoicha to see the shchina. Flesh means that you make yourself pliable. The bittul. You don't have gasos, haruach. You don't hold of yourself. You're not hard. Kidechsiv, he actually spells out what he means. For example, Kidechsiv, oitzem einav meira'is bara. Someone who closes their eyes from looking at what they're not supposed to. They don't think they own the world. Keep your eyes down. Melech, I think this is the same pasuk. I didn't check it up. It looks like he's quoting a pasuk. Oitzem einav meira'is bara. Melech b'yafyeh tachazenu inacha. You'll see the king in his beautiful glory. In other words, whoever is zeicha that he doesn't look where he's not supposed to, he's going to be zeicha to see the pnei hashchina. So that's what he's saying. That's why it says yavi kol basar. Whoever makes themselves like basar is going to be zeicha to see the shchina. That's Rebbe Lazar. Davar acher yavi kol basar afilu hagoyim. The Medrash says davar acher that the reason why it says basar not Yisrael is because the goyim are also coming to the Beis Hamikdash. Which goyim shalei avdu bi Yisrael? The goyim shali avdu bi Yisrael, who didn't nishlecht, who didn't do anything, who didn't make the Yidden work, who didn't do anything bad to the Yidden, Melech HaMashiach mekablom. Melech HaMashiach is going to accept them. Als goyim in Pashtus. Otherwise, they're Yid the Chaydim. But going back to us, so the fact that goyim are going to be coming, definitely for goyim, it's not a mitzvah. It's definitely not a mitzvah for goyim. So the fact that we're talking about goyim coming, etc., would suggest to us that we're not necessarily talking about a choiv. We're talking about a reshus. They're going up to Yerushalayim, and the Taka de Radak and the pasuk says in the words kol basar, he says Ritzoynei loimer kol bnei adam, all the mankind, va'afilu shar ha'amim, even the other nations, and he says v'chein in the pasuk v'yivarich kol basar Hashem kadshay. All flesh will thank Hashem's name. And he says, he points us to a Nevuah Zechariah, which we have to see how the two match, but there's a Nevuah in Zechariah that we actually mentioned once, where it says the following, it discusses the war of Gog and Magog, the whole massive war, and then it says, Ki kol hanoiser mikol hagoyim, whoever's remains amongst all the nations, haboyim el Yerushalayim, will come to Yerushalayim, yalu midei shana b'shana, will come every year, l'shtachavos l'melech Hashem tzvakis, to bow down to Hashem, v'lochig es chag ha-sukkos, and to celebrate Chag HaSukkos. The Goyim are coming specifically on Sukkos to come to Yerushalayim. So the shaila is, are they coming every Shabbos in Reish Chodesh? Are they coming on Reish Chodesh? Are they coming on Sukkos? But whatever the pshat is, the Radak is bringing a raya from here, the concept of basar, meaning or even Goyim. That the Radak is bringing a raya from Zechariah that the Goyim are coming to Yerushalayim. It doesn't necessarily have to be only Yidden. Fine. Well, and basically, there's a whole arichas, there's a long mimer in Aratayr that the Samach Tzedek explains al Chassidus what all this means and why lo asid lave. Basically, why we have to only the schiyuv of simcha only applies on Yomim Tevim now, because Bina and Shabbos is oinig, Shabbos is menucha, Shabbos is not simcha. When Mashiach comes, it's going to be simcha in Shabbos also, and therefore we're going to have to be eled ego. He explains it all Chassidus. So according to the Tzemach Tzedek, it would come out that it's an obligation, because he explains that it's the same inyan. Just like nowadays we have to go to the Beis Hamikdash for Yom Tif, Las Lever, we're going to have to go for Shabbos also, because Shabbos is also going to have the inyan of Simcha, not only the inyan of Tainug. That's inyan b'fnei atzmei, and so that's the. Everyone should have a wonderful evening. Good